a little dark. I'm gonna do Cheers with Highlander.
Wow. All right. Do tell.
So at the end of Cheers, Sam, turns off the lights to the bar and walks out. We all know this. It's an iconic end to an iconic show. But what if Sam, leaving the bar, gets mugged, shot, and killed? Then he comes back as an immortal, only to meet one Duncan MacLeod, an over 400-year immortal from the Highlands of Scotland, who trains him. I just think it would be really fun to see Sam as an immortal bar owner. He would get on so great with Joe, who also owns a bar. It's a fun setting for immortals, and given Sam's that charming dude, so it would be fun to see him getting along with Duncan, who's kind of similar, although Duncan, of course, is so much more serious than Sam is. But it would be interesting to see that more humorous setting for the Highlander universe. And I can't even imagine Mythos, who's my favorite character from the show, who's the oldest of the immortals, in this sort of more comedic, like, situation in the bar, just kind of attempting to crack jokes but probably failing miserably because he's like, think of an ancient Frasier. And I just want to see Mythos and Frasier have a conversation. I think Frasier would have like a nerdgasm over Mythos's knowledge. It would just be so interesting. And also then we'd have to watch Sam have a sword fight and decapitate someone and then go back to work at the bar. Who doesn't want this?
Wow. Wow. So, I mean, I've said this before. Is there a Highlander? Was that a movie too, or was that just a TV show?
Oh, Rob. So it's quite a few movies.
Okay.
The only one you really need to see is the first one. The first one's iconic, and it's definitely, oh my gosh, yeah. It's I hesitate to say it's a cult classic, but it really didn't do very well when it first came out. So I guess it is a cult classic, but it's definitely in the pop culture zeitgeist. So it got a sequel that was not well received, in The Quickening, and then it had a third film, which is more of a prequel in The Sorcerer. And then they had the TV show come out, and so that's the first three movies are centered around Connor MacLeod, and then the TV show is centered around Duncan MacLeod. Then they have more movies where the first one, Endgame, has a crossover between Connor and Duncan MacLeod before Duncan fully takes over the movie franchise, and he has two movies following that. The most important one being The Source, where they reveal yet again the source.
Now, who plays who?
Um, Connor MacLeod is played by Christophe Lambert, and then Duncan MacLeod is played by, I don't know his name.
Okay. See, I'm just totally. You've talked about this before. You brought it up, and I'm just like, I have enough hot takes, going on in my life, and enough like, oh fuck, what the fuck moments. So I haven't really said anything yet, but in this episode, I haven't really had any hot takes yet. So I'm just gonna throw it out there. I've heard of Highlander. I literally don't know what it is, what it's about, or ever seen it at all. But now that you've kind of explained it to me with the Cheers thing, I'm starting to kind of wrap my head around the whole thing.
Oh, I can go on years long rants about Highlander. Duncan MacLeod, by the way, is played by Adrian.
Okay, interesting.